Welcome to Pretty Personalized. I'm Layla.
I'm Leo.
And today we are talking about the things that you have to know before you embark on building a personal brand. So we get asked by many people who are either entering into a new career or looking for just a change of scenery and pace or trying to elevate themselves within whatever respectful field that they're in. And they say, okay, I want to rebrand myself or I want to start my own personal brand. Tell me what I have to do.
Can you rebrand me?
Right? The famous words. And it always cracks me up because there's a couple of questions that I will automatically go to before I say yes or no or let's talk more. Because lately we've had so many clients wasting our time.
We have. You really have to figure out who you are. What are you trying to project before? What are you trying to tell the world before we can't just rebrand you and completely
Based on what we think.
Exactly. I mean, we can absolutely do that, but that's not what you want. Whether you know it or not, I think people think it's just easy to say, "Hey, can you rebrand me?" Okay,
well, we have to talk about a lot of things before that point because if we take on, and if anyone takes on a client who just asks for, I want to rebrand, they're pretty much stealing your money if they're not going to dig deeper because there's so many facets that go into this. So, for example, you come to me and you say, rebrand me.
Rebrand me.
Okay, so you like traveling, you really love wine, and you really love your dog. So I'm going to make you like Traveling Leo the lion. And like she's going to have a cute little logo with a dog in her hand and it's going to be great. And like, that sounds fun to me, right? But you're like, no, that's not exactly the direction I want to go in. And I'm like, oh, well, you didn't tell me what direction, and I just did all this work for you, so here you go.
Exactly.
And you're like, oh, okay.
Pay me.
Exactly. But I mean, that's a short, condensed version. But one of the most important things is you have to have your goals of what you want in your life and in your business written down, and you have to be willing to share that with us. Because if we don't know where you eventually want to be, if all things fell perfectly into place, then how in the heck can we build a brand that's going to be the vehicle to get you there?
Right. You need to have a clear vision. You need to write down your goals, really think about it, and then be able to talk on it, be able to ask questions because we're going to ask you different questions, different aspect of whatever the business is or who you are, where have you been, where are you trying to go, what's the look that you're going for. Do we need new content, obviously, videographer, photographer? Do we need to create a whole new website? What does your current website look like? What were you trying to portray on there? Do we need to audit all of that? I mean, there's just so many different aspects.
There's so many aspects, and we've lately had people who haven't given much direction, and it leaves so much room in our arena to have to interpret, and honestly, it gives me anxiety because while I might think something's great, you go into the client and like, oh, this isn't what I was thinking at all. It's like, well, I don't know exactly what you were thinking because we have not been able to get enough out of you in these brand storming exercises. Like that's literally why we call it brand storming, because it's a collaborative process. And if you can't communicate clearly what you're envisioning, or maybe you don't even know what your vision is, it's really tough for anyone in our position to be able to bring it to life.
Right. I think a lot of it is you just have to sit down and really think about yourself and what you're trying to accomplish. And sometimes until you're maybe by yourself, or if you have a team, sitting down with your team, just depending, if you're running your own company and you want to rebrand, but maybe not necessarily bring 30 of your employees in who may all have a different vision, but you have a business partner, whatever it may be. Sometimes you just need to sit and brainstorm and put some ideas on paper, because we can work with a lot of different ideas that you come up with, that you say, hey, so I'm thinking maybe this is sort of where my logo wants to go, and this is the voice that I want to project, and this is what I think my website should have as far as the content. And then we can take a look in that and say, okay, well, we can, we have something to work off of.
Exactly. Or if you give someone, hey, I love the way that, I don't know, someone in a similar field, so say you're in personal finance and you love the way this guy Graham Stevens does his stuff. I love the way Graham does his content. I want to build something really similar to how Graham's doing it. He's my inspiration. awesome. That gives us a starting point of something that you really genuinely like. And then on the flip side, it's important to know what you don't like. So, for example, I don't like Gary Vee. I would not want my brand to reflect anything within the realm of Gary Vee, even though he's wildly popular and far more popular than we are. That's just not, like, force feeding content down people's throats. Like, that doesn't do it for me,
Right.
you know?
Right.
But it's important because what if we went through a branding exercise with someone and they were like, we're going to make you guys like the next Gary Vee's. It's like, no. Back up.
Not quite.
So we have a client, her name is Lauren. Her brand was Live Love Makeup, and it seems very adolescent, right? So she said, I need to up my game. I'm one of the top makeup artists in Arizona, but my brand does not reflect that. I just paid to get my website done. I don't like it. It's dark. It doesn't reflect who I am. And we got to take her through an entire branding exercise. She told us what fonts and color schemes she liked. She told us that her goal was about beauty positivity and how all of the people that she works with, she wants to feel comfortable within their own skin deep down and not feel like I need to live behind a filter. Right. Or I need all of this makeup and all of this to feel good about myself. It's about enhancing what was already there. So right there, we know that that's what Lauren's goal is. And now we get to build an entire brand around that. She's about to launch her own YouTube channel, and her other passion is astrology. So her astrology brand that we're building right now is called the Velour Hippie, Astro and Tarot. And she's going to be doing readings and telling you, Scorpios, they don't play nice with Libras, but you know who does play nice with Libras? Sagittarius, and here's why. Right now in the universe, we have 6 planets in retrograde. What does that mean for what's actually going on in the world and breaking that stuff down? So she's got 2 brands. They both can play nicely together, but she's got a vision for what each of them should look like. And that makes our job incredibly easy to execute on and to bring to life.
Right. And the more meetings, conversations that you have with someone, you get to learn a little bit more about them, maybe even aside from exactly what they're trying to focus in on for what you're trying to rebrand. So you get to know them a little bit. So sometimes you might have some off-the-wall ideas or think of something and you know if you should approach that, if it could be something that works for them or not, that maybe hasn't been completely thought of during a brainstorming session. So before you go to anyone to say, just rebrand me, just think about it. What are you trying to accomplish, essentially?
What are your goals? What are your inspirations? What do you not like? We have a client right now, literally the text is rebrand me. And they said, okay, write down your goals. Well, that's really objective. What do you mean write down my goals? And I'm like, if I can't walk you through this, you have to know what those are.
Right.
And if you don't, I can't make them up for you. So you have to be willing to do the legwork before you then make that investment in a team of people to then elevate you to the path that you want to be going on.
Right, the ultimate goal.
But it's not a quick process. That's the other thing. People think that they can have a consultation with us and then 2-3 weeks later, here's your brand served on a platter. But the collaborative process takes time. And that's another thing. Anyone who's like, oh, I can have this done within a couple of days, you need a designer, you need someone who's involved who really wants to get to know you.
Right.
And that's important. Like, as we're about to build Smash,
right,
I'm interviewing designers for that, and we need to find someone who wants to take the time to get to know how we all see it so they can better bring it to life. Otherwise, we're going to get some canned, corny logo.
Right.
And have paid $2,000+ for it.
Exactly. So there's a lot that goes into it ultimately. But I don't think that anybody can answer those questions for you. You have to answer those questions for yourself and have a clear vision, or at least have a vision of what you're trying to accomplish so other people can understand exactly which direction to take.
I also feel like you need to know who you want to be targeting. For us,
absolutely.
We rebranded about 2 years ago, and we simplified a lot of what we offered. So now we offer 3 things for 3 different categories of people, and it keeps it very clean cut. It keeps it very simple. So if someone calls and says, hey, I need a personal assistant, that's not us. That is something that we used to do way back in the day in DC, but that's no longer.
Right.
So we can make that referral for you, but we know what realm we're operating in, and it keeps us so much more focused. So.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into it, but this is just kind of, on the surface of what to think about. when you think, well, I just want to rebrand. And it's not this simple thing. We have a friend who just rebranded, I want to say
three
times. And it's like, you think of, you know, that this person went through weeks, maybe months of work. They just rebranded, and then for whatever reason rebranding again, and it's like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of hours and work and headaches in some sense, you know, because you want to make it perfect.
You have an audience that can be confusing too. So there's so many factors that should be weighed in. If you already have a brand, it's a different conversation than if you want to build a brand.
Right.
So, for example, Lauren, we got to enhance that brand and change the name and give it a facelift. Smash, we get to build from the ground up,
which is so exciting.
So exciting.
But we've all been on a very much same kind of platform of what we're trying to envision for that. And I think that every conversation that we have just keeps getting enhanced because we know exactly where it needs to be, and it's just about how to get there and all these steps and enhancements of how to make it better and better and better. So each time there's a conversation, something new comes up, and it's like, bright idea, you know.
That's the best part of the collaborative process. But if you have any questions on either rebranding or personal branding, feel free to shoot them in the comments, send us an email, you know, DM us, don't tweet us because I never check our Twitter.
Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already.
And we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.